It's time for FOMO, but we are not straying too far away from the Bitcoin conversation today, Renita, because we are looking at these crypto stocks that are rallying naturally on the back of this Bitcoin strength that Ben just outlined. I mean, names like Marathon Digital, Riot Blockchain, Coinbase, which needed this lift because all of these stocks have been met with some serious pressure over the last 12 months, especially given that fallout we saw as a result of FTX. But sentiment does appear to be shifting here as a lot of these names are making huge year-to-date gains. I mean, Marathon Digital is up 274%, Riot Blockchain 252%, Coinbase 66%, but these names have been beaten down so badly. I have to channel Alex Coffey here because percentage-wise, it's all relative.
It is all relative, though, but we'll talk about how it's been beaten down a lot lately. So we have regulatory pressures that have come down upon the entire cryptoverse over the past few months, almost a year now. And so we can see that recovery now, but we saw it recover after a couple of institutional investing moves that really made this look like another bet that traditional finance institutions may start to bid even more into cryptocurrencies, Jenny.
Right, and I think that's exactly why we're seeing these names get a lift today, is the fact that there's this institutional interest once again in a lot of these names, and of course just in the crypto space, which I do think oftentimes we group these names together, that being Marathon as well as Riot and Coinbase, but they are all different players in this space. Marathon Digital is actually engaged in the mining of digital assets, where Coinbase is of course the provider of end-to-end financial infrastructure and technology for the overall crypto community. Riot is more focused on the building and the supporting of operating these blockchain technologies. So while they do all get a nice lift from the strength we're seeing in Bitcoin today, they are not all created equal. And Coinbase has been a name I think that's been hit somewhat the hardest with some of this regulatory scrutiny, just given the fact that it has had serious lawsuits. I mean, it's had the SEC just alleging the fact that it is not operating in a fair and just environment for its traders and investors. That's not what you want, of course. You have the fallout, of course, earlier this year that led to some, I'd say, mistrust in the overall space. So institutional backing, I think, is really important, and I think this is a step in the right direction if you are a fan of the crypto space. Of course, following the reports we got of BlackRock's ETF, which many believe have a really good chance of getting approved at this point. They have a near perfect report card of getting their ETFs approved. And so I think this means then what does this look like next? Because I was reading one more bearish call saying that actually the space could continue to see just advanced regulatory scrutiny even on an ETF, and that this is not necessarily even a step in the right direction, is what this report I was reading said. But I definitely think, just given the strength and then the overall market weakness, this is something that's definitely getting people excited again.
I think we see both sides of this too. I think that whether or not more institutional firms come into this crypto verse again means that more regulatory scrutiny could come, because regulators regulate securities. And the question still remains as to whether or not some cryptocurrencies are securities or not with the FTC. But also we did see a move from Deutsche Bank most recently that applied for a digital asset custody license over in Germany. So pushing a little bit more of that institutional investment behind the cryptoverse. We'll see if more comes as a result.
And we'll have to see if more consolidation comes in this space, because that's been another headwind over the last several months, that there is the thinking that we could see further consolidation before bottoming here. But still an interesting move, and of course nice to talk some green on a day when we are seeing so much red throughout the markets. But that does it for our FOMO segment.